See, but like, this is so much better than fucking guns. I still don't, like, there's still police, still fuck them. But I prefer they have this over guns. Should police use man catchers? I'll give my honest opinion. I think yes. I think yes. I think that this would be a good tool for police to have to restrain somebody who needs to be restrained. I don't know what it looks like yet, but based on the thumbnail right here, it seems like it could be a pretty good tool. At least better than a gun. I'd rather them have this stupid looking thing than a gun, but we'll see.
How you going?
They play a little crane game with
I was
it.
in China.
Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine, guys.
It is a very large, very delicious, and very confusing place.
This is a typical day in China. We wake up, we gong our bell, we gong our gong, right? We take the big giant stick, and then we have our rice and our wontons, as you do in China.
And one thing that really boggled my head was that the majority of coppers I saw had these giant half-moon spears, which they carried around everywhere. And at first, I found these cops...
See, but like, this is so much better than fucking guns. I still don't, like, there's still police, still fuck them. But I prefer they have this over guns.
Quite intimidating. But then, I realised that was all they had. They didn't have any other weapons.
Yep.
You know, in Australia, when you see cops, they usually look like a high-level player that has kind of strolled into the area with their barrage
It's
of
true.
weapons. And they've got so many weapons that they need to wear special belts so they can keep piling more weapons on top of themselves. And all of these weapons are designed to destroy you.
Yet to be identified, died after a confrontation with officers.
Yeah.
He was tasered in what...
When there's a crazy
Even
Australian
tasers.
with a knife, you've kind of got two options for the police. Either you can shoot them with a gun or a taser. Both of these can lead to death.
Yep.
Like, look at this dude. He was just peacefully tripping out on LSD, minding his own business, naked in 7-Eleven, munching down on some biscuits, when the cops showed up and zapped him until he died. And the majority of deaths caused by tasers are on unarmed people. And I'm no expert, but I reckon if these spears actually work at controlling people, then I think they would be a great thing for police in Australia to have in their arsenal, so they can prevent needless death.
Yeah, I mean, I think police should have some form of firearms to deal with violent or shooting criminals or suspects. Most police just don't need them, frankly. Most police don't need them. Like, is there a situation which they are necessary? Sure. I think that there are definitely situations where lethal force is necessary, 100%. They are few and far between, very rare, exceptionally rare, to the point that police should not regularly be carrying weapons. Man catchers work just fine. They work fine for China. They will work fine for us.
Deaths. So that's why today I'm going to create one of these Chinese man catchers and test one of these spears out to see how well they work and whether they could stop a man on bath salts. So before making my own, I decided to do some research on these man catchers, which was actually surprisingly hard, as man catcher didn't really return the result I was expecting.
Sexy singles near me.
So, it turns out man-catching pole spears have been used by cultures all across the world for ages. The earliest version was called the Sasumata.
Appeal to a tradition fallacy. Appeal to tradition.
And did not originate in China.
I hate China. I think it's authoritarian. Yes, it's very authoritarian. And I also am not that fond of China. I'm just saying that some things are better in China, such as their man catchers as opposed to lethal weapons and high-speed rail.
Actually from feudal
Japan. And that's really about it.
The
rest of it's pretty bad.
Then, and had spikes and a blade on it. But its purpose was the same, as a non-lethal way of capturing people you wanted caught. They also had a version in Europe which consisted of a spring-loaded door on the front that would fit around.
What the? You know what? Now just shoot me at that point. In Minecraft, of course, with the gun mod that we all know and love. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Man's neck, and was mainly used to pull people from horses. Apparently, it was also used to capture.
Dude, fucking pull people from horses with this shit. Holy shit. Also, this is not a horse. It's a weird looking horse, I'll be honest.
Noble opponents for ransom, but it still looked like it would hurt a little. And then there was this one. This
Canadian? I'm Ohioan.
From Papua New Guinea that was
one
used
rung
to
down on the cringe
opponents
scale
and then stab them in the neck. And today the man catchers that are used by police don't have the blades and spikes.
Oh, do they not?
Used to capture noble opponents. but are made from aluminium and used by police all across China and Japan. China and Japan have incredibly low levels of crime, and the majority of the population do not own guns. But after a series of knife attacks, sasamotos were introduced in order to allow people to have the upper hand against a knife attacker. They work by allowing the user to pin the attacker to the ground or a wall, while allowing the user of the spear to stay at a safe distance from the attacker.
That's smart.
Until backup arrives with more spears. And if these spears actually work, I think they sound like a great option for cops in Australia. So, I'm going to test two options.
I'll see.
One of the modern safe version used by police in China, and then I wanted to see if I can design my own man catcher with a locking mechanism that traps the men inside. A bit like marriage. Am I right, fellas?
I'm gonna fucking... Okay, he's self-aware. He's self-aware. He's self-aware.
Hey, fellas.
The old ball and chain, boys. That's right.
I'm going to cut this out of a piece of plywood and attach it to a
AKA
wooden
a
dowel,
wedding ring.
which I have cut a slit in, and I'm calling it now.
Wives are bad.
But
Am I
I'm a
right,
lazy
boys?
man, so I'm going to use it anyway. So then I just banged a pool noodle on the end of it, so it doesn't hurt that much when I use it. So
Cringe.
let's go try
You should have
this
put
out on
spikes.
my local vagrant who has just taken
Fake
my
cop.
bath salts.
Alright, give me back my
Stupid.
bath salts. Wait, come and get it. No, fuck you, alright?
Okay, I will fully admit, if you are a single cop trying to do this, that probably will not go well for you, okay? You need at least, like, 3 people. I'll fully admit that.
Yeah, something broke.
Alrighty, so that broke like I thought it would, so I'm going to attach it properly this time.
Okay.
So my
Put
previous
guns on the
attacker
end here.
was hungover, so I'm now going to test
Make it,
out on a slightly smaller
make it
attacker
10 feet
who
long.
hasn't gone through puberty yet.
No, longer than 10 feet. Make it like 30 feet long.
If you stab me,
The longer the
stab me
better.
with a knife, alright? So just, I want you to get angry. Like, think about all the times I stole your computer time, okay? Ready, go.
They can grab the stick. Yeah, but the point is, like, when you look at China, they have like 3 of them. Like, they have 3 people with them at least. They all grab onto the guy's waist and pin him against the wall. And so then they can, like, apprehend him that way. You know, they force him to surrender. He drops his weapon and then they arrest him.
Can you get it out?
And that worked very well, but it works even better with a longer stick.
Extremely long. Okay. Ready, go.
It would get really unwieldy the longer it is. That's why they're not this long in China.
Can you move? Can you get up?
The problem is, if you know physics like I do, because I watch Rick and Morty, the farther away you are from this end of it, the less control you have over this end of it. He can much more easily contest it, you know what I mean? Because he has the upper hand on this end of it.
And that worked great.
Seems like it's
But
working, though.
I can already hear some of you screaming at the screen that I am abusing a pre-puberty teen. So, let's switch the roles around.
Alright.
Wait, well, come on. They're just playing around.
Ready, go. Thing is, if I pull,
And it works extremely well. Even though the user of the man catcher is a lot smaller than I am, they're really able to control me and control my hips and make me unbalanced. But I did notice it had one weakness. If you managed to push it to the side, you could get at the person and spoon them. So that's why I wanted to test whether I could make some modifications to it, making it better at man grabbing or woman grabbing, nobility grabbing, whoever you were grabbing.
The Chinese police
And
are watching
is
this,
what I
taking
came up
notes.
with. And it looks pretty cool, although I kind of feel like I've become the physical embodiment of this guy's name. So, this is how it works.
Damian Ward?
When
What?
you push these parts here
Of this
against
guy's
the
name?
person,
Wait, which
they-
guy? Anime girl? Oh, fair enough.
So, this is how it works. When you push these parts here against a person, they move back until the bolts lock it in place, meaning that it won't be able to open again. And some of you might have noticed that there is a small gap here, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to be catching large people only. So let's go try it out.
I don't think it's going to help you though. I think I'm still going to catch you. Okay.
Terrifying.
I'm curious to see how well this will work.
Now if you get out, you can't.
Okay, it's got him trapped like all the way around.
This is great.
And this is great. Now that you're attached to the attacker, you can really give them the love and care they really need. Like,
The only thing again is if he pulls too hard the other direction, I feel like he could like you'd have to make sure to keep a nice tight grasp on this, you know what I mean? He should have motorized it probably.
care they really need by talking about their problems.
So tell me about your relationship with your mother.
That method
Playing
makes it harder to
Limbo.
use in multiples. Yeah, I mean it's not a perfect method, but nothing will be.
And then becoming great mates.
Aw.
So there you go, it seems to work pretty well. And you can definitely keep the attacker at a safe distance while controlling their movement.
With some training, this would be a million times better than a gun.
And this was made by me, a guy that is crap at making things. Imagine what professionals could come up with. And I'm not by any means saying that this is a solution to every problem. Like, obviously, in America, where the majority of the population has arms, I wouldn't attempt to use this on a guy with a gun. But the next time someone is experiencing bath salts induced psychosis...
Yeah, but he's forgetting a very crucial point here is that the vast majority of people who police arrest are not armed. Like they don't have guns on their person. They assume that everybody they encounter has a gun because they're paranoid pieces of shit. But like not everybody has one. Like the vast majority of people that they arrest do not have a gun. So these would work fine in like 90% of circumstances.
grab them
Probably
with a
more.
stick instead of zapping them until they die.
That's what he's saying now, though. Okay, fair enough. But he also said like, no, I'm not saying this would work in America because they all have guns, right? I understand where he's coming from, but like he's looking at it too simplistically. It's not that like everybody has guns on them all the time. It's that the people who are arrested typically do not have guns. You know, like most people do not carry guns on them at all times. It's like it wouldn't work as well in America with guns, but the next bath salts guy or drunk guy would be good on. I disagree. You can use that on people in America, provided they are not actively trying to shoot at police. Like it will typically work. All right. Now, if the man's known to be armed, then yeah, don't be fucking stupid. Just shoot him. Like you have to at that point. But most people, once again, in America, as well as everywhere else, are not armed when they're arrested.